Now greetings. How's it going, June?
Hey, how you doing, Simon?
Not too bad. So, could you introduce yourself to the viewers and let us know what you do for a living?
Hey, everyone. My name is June. Currently working for Kenny Cage, and I'm one of the production manager on the road, and be able to taking care of with all the fighters and as far as photographs and videos and all that. That's what I do with Kenny Cage. Be able to make sure that all the footages are well done before we give it out and view for a lot of people, millions of people, I should say.
So, for the people wondering, why did you choose to work in MMA photography?
Well, the MMA photography, it's actually fun. I got into it like 2012. I was actually a wildland firefighter here and out in Southern California, and still, and still is, and not active. But then when I went to King of the Cage, they gave me an opportunity. Actually, Steve Inman is the one that gave me an opportunity to be in charge of the footage, as far as the fight footage and all that, and photos, and be able to be worked with under Steve Inman and Terry Trebelcock, and it's a blessing, and it's why I'm here, and I'll continue to grow, and I fell in love with MMA, family. As far as jiu-jitsu wise, I pretty much, fell in love with that through MMA. So I'm really blessed to be here with King of the Cage.
When did this journey all begin for you? Like from the very start?
This journey, King of the Cage journey, started 2012. When actually, like I said, it started through Steve Inman, through Joe Daddy, and then Steve Inman, and then until now I'm still working under Inman Production, and and King of the Cage Production. This
Cool.
all of this started 2012. So
What are some of the places that you traveled as a MMA photographer?
for me, I have traveled through King of the Cage, under King of the Cage. I've traveled pretty much Indonesia, um, Singapore, sent me back to Philippines where I'm from, and Mexico and Cuba actually. Um, it's I've been through a lot, a lot of places. There's more places I've been through, and also around the U.S. and I've traveled with them, so it's been a blessing.
I find it pretty cool that you get to travel doing what you love. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's it's I'd say it's a lot of responsibility, and I
Yeah,
mean,
but
we're out there trying to doing kind of like two things at a time. But first of all, we have to take care of our our footage, our product, the stuff that we have to do with the fighters, deal with the fighters, do the weigh-ins, and do my pre-fights, film film the fighters, and do the photos. So it's like I said, it's really fun, and it's nerve wracking at the same time. It's like it feels like we're the one fighting, you know. Especially when the fight starts. That's when
Mhm.
I get nervous every day, every time. Every time we have a show coming up, and it's always a nerve wracking for me. I just think thank God that I have a pretty good crew on the road that kind of back me up and help me out and make things happen.
And what would you say the best part of your job would be, in your opinion?
The best part of my job would be, you know what? I like challenge. The best part of my job would be being in charge. on the road, like kind of like manning up to it. It's kind of like, this is my product, this is my thing, and this is, something that not handed to me. It's kind of like, this is what, you know Steve Inman taught me, and other people taught me, and for the most part, Steve. So thank God for having me, kind of like, trusting me, to be in charge of it. So
How does your jiu-jitsu training help you understand your profession a little more?
um actually, it helps. It helps a lot. Especially me when when I train jujitsu. I'm always looking for some moves. I'm always looking for some finishes, and that's what main thing for me. And as far as a person that's filming, because when I started jujitsu in 2012, and I started filming in 2012 at the same time, but I was already taking photos back in the days when I used to live in San Francisco. I was just doing photography. It's like landscape, but then I got into it with MMA in 2012, and I'm like thinking, okay, you know what? Let me see what am I taking photo here? What am I shooting here? I'm not just one of those photos like, okay, I'm gonna see this, punch fly, and I'm gonna take a shot of that. It's like, what's gonna happen after that? I'm kind of like thinking the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing for me. So I jumped on the mat and started learning, jujitsu on my own, and I fell in love, and I'm like, okay, it's a lot better for me now because now I can visualize what I'm trying to shoot for. I can visualize ahead of time what I'm trying to, you know, like take a photo of. So it's actually, I actually got into it more in jujitsu, than photo now. So I'm like, but I'm trying to balance both.
Yeah.
Fun gig. It's a fun gig for both. You know, I mean, I get to learn
Mhm.
a lot of mixed martial artists. Like one of them is your brother, and a lot of great fighters that I've met here on out, and I'm truly, it's a truly blessing for me that be able to become a mixed martial artist and be ranked. Something I've never done in my life. So, and that's something I'd probably bring it back when I go back home.
Talking about jujitsu, what gym do you train out of? My bad.
Um, Currently, right now, I'm training under Francisco Davila, Professor Francisco Davila, and he's from out here in Phelan, California. That's one of our gym. Check us out on on Google. Google us out, Davila Jiu Jitsu, out in Phelan. That's uh that's what I train on. That's what I'm training with now.
And let's say, what advice would you give someone who is interested in pursuing a career in MMA photography?
You know what? I mean, my thing is just keep on filming, keep on photographing. I mean, somehow you're gonna land to stuff that you want to do. I mean, there's a lot of things out there instead, not just MMA. For me, it's just MMA is just fun to I think it's just a lot more fun to film or photo shoot than anything. I'm not a wedding type of person, so I probably won't even want to do the wedding.
Now we're gonna get to some interesting questions. When did you know you wanted to become an MMA photographer?
um, you know what? I just, like I said, it was just that moment that it was just that moment that was handed on to me and say, it's kind of like a takeover kind of thing. So yeah.
Cool. How does it feel so close to be to the action?
How's it? What?
How does it feel to be so close to the action?
You know what? To be, like to be, to feel so close to be in action. It's kind of, sometimes it's like kind of nerve-wracking for me because I mean, you hear punches, you hear people getting, like especially in the rib, you get cracked in the rib or submissions, broken like bones and all that. It's kind of like, I somehow know how it feels because I do grapple myself, I do wrestle, I don't fight, but I do some kind of striking, so kind of know how it feels. And being out there, like being so close to it, I'm like, I'm kind of glad that that's not me. It's not me getting hit, or I'm not the one hitting. I mean, it's really fun for me just to just to absorb the sport and just to respect the sport and be out there with the guys. Is it's a great feeling.
This might be a complicated one, but if you had the opportunity to film a fantasy matchup of your choice, what would that be?
Fantasy matchup. You're talking about like a matchup between two person,
Yeah, yeah.
or like a two fighter? You mean? Does it have to be
two
male or
fighters,
female?
Whoever you'd like.
Hmm. Well, under King of the Cage. Hmm. I like, you know what? I like watching Anthony Romero. I enjoy watching him. To be honest with you, he's one of my favorite fighter out there, and very humble guy. Very humble, I mean, very humble person. And not trying to be biased and all that. It's just he's shit. I mean, maybe a couple of his teammates, but I would say he's at 155. Boy, that's tough. It's the last time he fought. I'd say I want to see him and Frank Schumann if he can fight at 155.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Just a curious question. You don't get hungry at all while you're filming?
I get hungry all the time. So yeah, I get hungry and thirsty. So sometimes we're all thinking like, oh, when is it gonna be over?
Is there anyone you would like to shout out, and where can we find you on social media?
You know what? I would like to send a shout out to you first. Thank you for having me on this. Having the opportunity to get the interview with you. I was, you caught me off guard in here, and it wasn't expected. So, thank you for having me here, and you can always follow me at my Instagram at Pasqueezy, and you can always follow me on Facebook, J1 Pasqueezy, and follow us, kingofthecage.com. We got a lot of show coming up, and shout out to your brother and the rest of the teammates out there in New York. Or no, you guys in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sorry about that. Shout out to all the people in Canada. So your brother and your brother's team, especially. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again. Hopefully, sometime soon, September.
Yeah. As always, I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to have a quick chat. We'll hopefully catch up soon. All right.
Yes.
Talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.